were all swerved last night. When Finn Balor came out to either confront or join Judgment Day, perhaps nobody more swerved than Edge himself. When it was all said and done, and Edge looked up at Finn Balor and most likely thought, "Et tu, Brute?" Because in straight Shakespearean form, Finn Balor screwed Edge. And if I can use a Stranger Things reference, turn Edge's world into the upside down. Finn Balor, the new leader of Judgment Day. Makes sense with Cody out. John Cena can't stick around forever. He'll come back for a pay-per-view or two, but it's going to be Edge that is going to be the big backup plan to be that big baby face. I think that's clear to see. There's a lot to talk about, and I assure you, when it comes to Judgment Day in that segment, we're going to talk about it. Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss. Two individuals I always wanted to see more of together. And after last night, I gotta say, man, if you're gonna make a tag team division, Alexa and Liv would be fucking fireballs, bro. Great balls of fire, Vince. Great balls of fire. We're gonna talk about it. And the Usos. BC is going to explain that even with two sets of titles, why Vince McMahon is slowly sabotaging them, ruining them. BC will explain in this review video. We're gonna talk about it. The format for today's review for Monday Night Raw, June 6, 2022 is quite simple. The last 2 hours of the show is what we are going to review. Because if you're looking for BC to talk about hour number 1, you're gonna have to tune in to the live stream we put out last night. You should have already seen that, like the 5,000 that already have. So go make sure that you check that out, man. We go over Becky Lynch losing to Dana Brooke for the 24/7 title. Yeah, you want BC's live reaction, you might want to check that out. We talk Matt Riddle and Maurice arguing over the size of Miz's balls. That's a true story, and if you want BC's reaction, you might want to check that out. And, of course, Cody Rhodes in his goodbye, farewell to WWE. For now, he will be back one day in the future. But his goodbye, his farewell was ruined when Seth Rollins sabotaged it with a sledgehammer, and BC told you before it was happening. We were live when it happened. If you want to catch that reaction, go check that out. But that's hour number 1, so we're not going to rehash that and take your guys' time. We're going to jump right into hour number 2. But before we do, man, I'll keep my cold open short. It's just something that caught BC's attention. Mustafa Ali, after Hell in a Cell in his hometown, his home city of Chicago, he loses in 10 minutes to 1 ATL. It's not one of those losses where you look good in defeat, which is what you hope happens, especially in your hometown. No, he lost in a less than 10-minute match via 1 ATL, and that was it, man. And then he was right back to wrestling on WWE Main Event. I don't even know where to find that. Maybe you can find it here on the tube. But he's back to wrestling on Main Event. And after Hell in a Cell went off the air, he took to social, and Ali said, "I just don't know anymore, guys. I just don't know anymore." I mean, that's Ali saying, "I tried everything. I tried to walk away, ask for a release. They wouldn't let me. I came back hoping it would be better. They throw me in a fucking pay-per-view match like that's throwing me a bone, like that's doing me a favor. Right back into obscurity after taking a massive L." Because he's back on Main Event. Then you wonder why Sasha Banks and Naomi walked away. They were about to have individual title matches at Hell in a Cell. Naomi against Bianca Belair. And then it was going to be Sasha Banks versus Ronda. They were both supposed to lose and then go back to their irrelevant, non-existent tag team division. So Sasha and Naomi were thinking about the future, not just a quick payoff at a pay-per-view. Ali is right back on main event, and he was pretty pissed off after Hell in a Cell. And then after his main event match, right before, or actually while Raw was on the air, he also posted another post saying, main event Mustafa, or main event Mustafa is back, or some shit like that. And it shows a photo of him like, yeah, main event Mustafa is back. In other words, he's trying to make light of it, trying to have fun with it. Like you can't make this shit up. And his opponent was T-Bar, and T-Bar also showed his frustration. And with T-Bar, man, it really hits home. It's really it's one of those eye-opening experiences when you see T-Bar. He literally just posted. It was short, simple, right to the point. He said, I just need an opportunity. I mean, how does that not break you a little bit when you know the talent that T-Bar has? It's easy if you didn't watch NXT and you don't remember the classics that Keith Lee and T-Bar had, then it's easy just to be like, oh, T-Bar had chances, he had opportunities. T-Bar's not really special, he doesn't have charisma. None of that is true. None of that. Because clearly you did not watch anything that T-Bar, it's hard to even say that, it's Dominik Dijakovic to BC. You never saw Dominik's matches in NXT. You never saw what this dude can do and what Vince doesn't allow him to do on the main roster. All you saw was a shitty gimmick in Retribution with a shitty name in T-Bar. And that's all you know about him. Guys, he has not had an actual match on Monday Night Raw, or at least not singly anyway, since I believe February. And that was completely irrelevant, obviously. But Vince has made sure that he dumbed down his talents 87%. You're getting 13% of him in the ring, and that's only when he's in there for the 90 seconds Vince allows him. It was, Ali's trying to make fun of it again because there's nothing left for Ali to do. I mean, he's tried everything. Dominik Dijakovic, T-Bar, is just like, I just need an opportunity. I mean, it's almost like the dude is crying out like, I'm ready to do the work. Give me a real chance, man. Keith Lee responded, basically telling him to keep his head up, He totally understands. Keith Lee isn't that much better in AEW right now in this tag team with Swerve Scott swerving in our glory. We don't know what the fuck that even means. He just got a title shot at the last pay-per-view, but that was past the midnight hour. It was in the sleeper spot right before the main event. It was the gateway match. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Keith Lee we thought was going to be a dominant singles motherfucker. I mean, we remember when Keith Lee was face-to-face with Brock Lesnar, face-to-face with Roman Reigns. We thought such big things in WWE. Completely shit the bed, turned into a Bearcat, and then he went over to AEW where we all said, oh, now he's going to be used properly. And then he gets thrusted into a fucking irrelevant tag team with Swerve Scott. Patience, Beasley, I'm told. Fuck patience, man. You gotta strike while the iron is hot. Momentum is everything in pro wrestling. You strike right upon debut. He debuts, then he goes on his fucking honeymoon. He doesn't come back for 2 weeks. Then he's off of Dynamite for a full month, wrestling solely on Rampage. Then he's thrusted into a Swerve Scott tag team. I mean, you can't make this up. But at least he's being used, man. He's a part of these shows. I mean, T-Bar, Dominik Dijakovic, this motherfucker. Man, when I saw his post right after Ali was trying to make fun of it, main event Mustafa is back, and then Dijakovic, T-Bar is just like, I just need an opportunity. It just, man, it's so sad to see these wrestlers trying to cry out, trying to do everything they possibly can just to get a damn chance. Let's go over to Monday Night Raw, man. Again, hour number 1, we already did the live reaction. Go check it out. It's on the channel up right now. Hour number 2 for June 6, 2022. Let me put I got French vanilla dunk. This is no lie, man. BC's just waking up on this shit. I got French vanilla Dunkin' Donut coffee, and I'm about to put a French vanilla creamer in this bitch. I ain't even gonna stir it. No sugar. Just French vanilla upon French vanilla, bruh. I love it. That's it. Straight up. No sugar, no stirring it. One French vanilla on top of a French vanilla. Salute to my amplified unit. Ah, that'll wake you up. Oh, man. Fuck yeah, dude. All right, so the Usos versus the Street Profits. #1 contenders match. Just as I left you guys on the live reaction of Hour 1, just last night, you remember my words. In case you didn't, I had my assistant Sasha cue it up. So when she is ready, I want you guys to hear how I ended last night's video, last night's live stream of Hour 1. This is how I actually went off the air live. I was looking into the future of WWE because with this company, it's not that hard. It's pretty simplistic to see where Vince McMahon is headed and unfortunately what is happening to his talent. So this is what BC said as we went off the air last night. Sasha, when you get it queued up, please play that shit.
All right, that's it, guys. You got the Usos and the Street Profits in there now, starting Hour 2. It's a #1 contenders match, so the Profits will probably beat the fucking champions, so your champions will lose again like they always do to set up a fucking title match because Vince McMahon is too fucking stupid or can't be fucking bothered by actually giving us a real storyline for the champions. So we'll have them lose all the time just to get us to a match we've already seen. Fuck that, fuck you, Vince, BC, and I'm out.
That was great. That was great, Sasha, thank you. Oh, that was great, man. Fucking BC in rare form. If you caught the stream, you know I was a couple coffees deep at the time. That's exactly what I knew was gonna happen, man. I told you guys that the Usos were going to lose this match some way, by hook or crook, or straight up, but the Usos will lose that match. Just as I told you guys that last night, 5 minutes later, after BC went off the air, 5 minutes later, the Usos lost via countout, and the Profits will now face the Usos again. This has nothing to really even do with the Street Profits, no shade at all. I like Montez Ford a lot as well. So that, I mean, this isn't shade. Their booking is beyond atrocious because Vince McMahon has them every now and again kind of in heel tendencies, almost like they're turning heel. A couple weeks playing the heel characters and taking all the baby faces' moves. I remember one week taking Riddle's move and then RKO's from Randy Orton. I think there was a couple other people that were delivering their moves, and Montez and Dawkins were just the heels taking everybody's fucking finisher. Like you would see at a house show. And then like a week or two later, they're back in the face role with no explanation. So the Street Profits are being sabotaged as well, so I'm not dogging them out. This has everything to do with the Usos and how Vince McMahon is sabotaging them. 5 minutes after I said those words, the Usos lose another match. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. A title match we've not only already seen before, but a match we just saw. That's what you're telling everybody with these #1 contenders matches. A, your champions lose all the fucking time because of these matches, because clearly they're set up to get to the title match. Because Vince McMahon is too lazy, does not give a shit to actually give us a storyline. So he just has these contenders matches. The champion will lose, and that sets up the title match at the pay-per-view. Or these days, just at the next week's Raw or SmackDown. Try to pop a rating, maybe. Make Fox and USA happy. They're not even relevant enough to be at the pay-per-view. Nobody's thinking about the fans. We just saw the match. There's no reason to see a rematch, man. Because titles are on the line. We already saw the champions lose just to get to the match, so the champions don't even seem or look or feel prestigious anymore. So there's no reason to even give a shit about the champions. Vince McMahon cannot be bothered to give BC, to give you, to give us. He cannot be bothered to give us a meaningful, fun match with titles on the line. Can't be bothered to give us such. So the Usos will just lose every single match just to set up title matches. That's exactly how Riddle and Shinsuke just got theirs. If you don't believe BC, go look at how Shinsuke and Matt Riddle got their match. They beat the Usos. And then we saw the same exact match days later. Just titles on the line. Hell in a Cell is all fucking wrapped up. We're on to the next month. And the Usos lose another match to get us to a title match. And we're going to repeat this fucking process. How can anyone in that company think that watching the exact same matches over and over and over could possibly be entertaining? Fuck that. Fuck you, Vince. That shit has gone beyond stale. It has to be rectified, and it had to be rectified yesterday, last week, last month, a year ago, 5 years ago. I cannot tell you, man. And yeah, you know, BC is big on the Usos. They're my favorite tag team up there with the Briscoes. I say that like a broken record a million times. And to watch the Usos with 2 sets of titles on them be booked like fucking clowns, like idiots. Absolute schmucks at a circus. A sideshow. That is what the Usos have turned into. They lose the stupidest of matches in the stupidest of ways, and you kind of think, even as a big Usos fan as BC is, you kind of wonder, how do they even have the gold? I could just imagine how a casual or somebody not too high on the Usos looks at this fucking team. Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating to see a team like the Usos who, with 2 sets of titles, which I'm totally up for, by the way. I was advocating, get all the gold. Be dominant like fucking Roman. This is not dominant. Just squeaking by with the titles is not dominant. Losing all your matches until you get to the title match and squeaking by and winning those, that's not dominant. I just... You know, when you see the same thing over and over again, I'm not even just talking about the matches, by the way. When you see the same repetitive process that they can't even give these wrestlers, their talents, a storyline, bro. It doesn't just fuck up and sabotage the talent. It fucks up and sabotages the viewing experience for the actual fans. The experience sucks. We don't have a storyline. It's just we see the match every week. And then you get to a pay-per-view and you get the same fucking match. That's not a story. That's not even a feud. That's just a repetitive match. A rematch. I don't see how anybody could be excited to see another Usos Profits match. Like, we didn't see it 100 times before, by the way. But you saw it again last night. And because of the result, you're going to get it again in the future. Probably several fucking times, knowing this company. Next up, Bobby Lashley and Theory face-to-face. I have no clue what these two are even fighting about. They start showing each other their biceps, and then they start arguing about who has the bigger biceps. Doesn't matter, they ain't bigger than BC's delts anyway, brah. Look at that shit, brah. Those fucking delts, man. Let's have a delt off. Actually, both those boys got big delts as well, but BC will be in the convo. And I'll hang with you in the bicep department as well. I don't want to knock over my coffee, but I'll hang with the biceps as well, bruh. Come on. Come on. Ah! We actually got to do biceps today, man. I've been off rotation the past couple of weeks. So I've been slacking on a couple of areas. That's going to be resolved today, I assure you, now that I think about it. Anyway, they're having a bicep off, and BC is thinking, man, I don't know what is more ridiculous, man. Is it Maurice and Riddle in hour number 1 arguing about the size of Mrs. Balls? Is it hour number 2, Theory and Lashley deciding who has bigger biceps? Oh, no, I know what's the most ridiculous. Becky Lynch losing to Dana Brooke for the 24/7 title in hour number 1. Yeah, that takes the cake. That wins the most ridiculous segment of the night award. Anyway, I don't know where this is going, man. I have no clue what this was about. Lashley should not be the guy to take the title from Theory. Lashley should not be that guy. That's not shade. You guys know BC loves Bobby Lashley. I wish he was booked correctly, and that's the problem. We know what happens when he just gets a title out of the blue. It doesn't do any. It's like Finn Balor and Rico shit. They were booked like bums for months. Vince snapped his finger. They all of a sudden got championships out of nowhere on television shows, not even pay-per-views. No build out of jobber status. They just got titles one day. And it didn't do anything for Balor, and it's not doing anything for Rico shit. He's just keeping it warm for Gunther. What Balor just did last night, which we're about to get to, that was way more relevant than winning a championship. And I can't believe I'm saying that because it's a title. It's a championship. You would think that would be one of the highest moments in someone's career. And it should be. But it didn't do anything for Balor. What happened last night is going to be leaps and bounds better, and that's because Vince doesn't make championships prestigious, and he doesn't make champions relevant. And that's a big fucking issue. We just went over that with the Usos. It's the same thing with these titles. So Austin Theory has momentum. Austin Theory is doing good in that role right now. He's doing a good service to the title, and the title is doing a service for him. I don't see what putting this on Bobby Lashley is going to do for the title or for Bobby Lashley. Vince McMahon has proven he doesn't know how to book a Bob Lashley. A Bob Lashley with a title? I don't see how taking this off Austin Theory right now. And if it doesn't, if Austin Theory does win this, which I don't see him dropping that title to Bobby Lashley, I just don't, then Lashley just got done with this Omos feud just to lose his next feud. It's a weird concept. I don't know if they just panicked a little because of Cody Rhodes, and they're bringing back the Cenas and turning Edge and making Bobby Lashley go for the title already, mid-card. I don't know if these are erratic moves or planned, but what am I saying? All of Vince's moves are erratic. There's nothing really planned anymore. Everything changes every damn second as it is. I don't know, man. We all pretty much, I can speak for most of us, we respect the hell out of Bobby Lashley. We want the best for him, and we hope he gets good booking. But just throwing this title off of him, I think it's going to do more damage to Theory than it's going to help Bobby Lashley. If you really want to help Bobby Lashley, start booking him correctly. Put him in shit we care about. Because we've already seen him with the world title, and it didn't do jack shit. Now we're going to watch him walk around with a mid-card title, and it's Expecto Petroleum. Going to get better? Is he a wizard? No, I think not. I don't think he's a wizard. There's one wizard in pro wrestling, and he's over in AEW right now. So I just Austin Theory has to keep this shit, and it sucks because that means Bobby would have to lose this feud. It's not even going to be a feud. They're going to wrestle 17 times just to get to the fucking title match. We end hour number 2 with Veer. I believe he defeated Dominic Mysterio. Maybe that was DQ. Ray saved Dominic and pissed off Veer a little bit. If I'm off a little bit, that's because I couldn't give two shits about this match. There's just no connection right now with BC and Veer. Veer is not doing it for me. And I hope that changes. That's all I can say, man. This dude is pretty lackluster right now. So I hope that changes. But if you can't even book somebody like Bobby Lashley and the Usos correct, did you really think Veer was going to be booked correctly? We start with one of the biggest great swerves in recent years to start our number 3. At least for this company, one of the biggest swerves in years, man. Judgment Day is middle of the ring. Edge telling Priest and Ripley how proud he is of them for their Hell in a Cell victory on Sunday night. He then introduces the newest member of Judgment Day, Finn Balor. When Balor gets in the ring, the way Edge is speaking, Edge didn't go to Balor. Edge tells Balor, I'm glad that you reached out to Damian and Rhea. Please explain why you think this is a good fit. And that's when we were all swerved. Et tu, Brute. Balor becomes the new leader of Judgment Day when Priest, Ripley, and Balor annihilate Edge. Priest turns to Edge and basically says, you were the problem all along. Clotheslines Edge. Edge's look, man. You think he just cuts a good promo for stories? He's got the fucking mannerisms, the expressions. Edge will tell a story with his eyes alone, man. And the way he was looking up at Priest. It was Priest that got the et tu brute. In other words, you too? You know, like when everybody turned on the whole Caesar storyline, man, and he looked up. Caesar looked up at Brutus, and he was like, you too? Oh, man. He looked up at Damien like, damn, man. And he knew what was to come. It was a beating with Balor and Rhea Ripley, and they fucking wrecked this dude. Even took him outside and smashed him through the announce table. And then they fucking did the concerto to him. They locked him in that submission. They had like a piece of the chair in his mouth, yanking his neck back. I mean, they fucked this dude up to the point where he was stretchered out. It was like he was being written off of TV. You would think he was written off TV. This makes sense because with Cody now gone, Vince McMahon goes into a little bit of a panic and he needs big baby faces. That's why you saw John Cena. What the fuck's going on here? Oh. The merch, baby, the merch. Anyway, that's why you saw John Cena is coming back. June 27th, I believe his 20-year reunion, something like that. And he's probably going to stick around. He'll probably be the one going against Austin Theory. That's what I mean. Bobby Lashley will be a gateway to that match, most likely. John Cena versus Austin Theory. But he'll probably stick around for a pay-per-view or two. But Cena is coming back, at least on that day. But I think Vince McMahon knows he needs somebody that's going to be there, show in and show out. Edge will do that for Vince in a top babyface role. So Balor gets the nod. Edge will go into that baby role to make up for what they just lost in Cody. So it does make sense, but damn, it's still a swerve. I didn't see that coming with them being so new, so fresh, so organic. And to see Edge in that role getting fucked with, I mean, usually he's the mastermind in everything he does. So to see him like that, and for Balor, dude, man, you know, a lot of people are going shades of Bullet Club here, right? Shades of the old school BC. But this is obviously much different. But Balor just looked like he was at home in a faction like this. So I think for Balor, who had nothing for so long, I think this is so refreshing for him. I think this is going to be big. And I may be in the minority here, and that's fine. But the more I think about it, I actually like this better than Edge. I know, he was the leader. He was the founder. I get it. But I just like this better. There's something about Edge being tied down in a faction. It's just not needed. I just don't like it. It's the same thing I said in AEW. I don't like Malachi being in a group, even though, of course, he's the perfect leader because he's a natural-born leader. You know, he's a front man. But there's just so much that he needs to do still on his own. And there's so much that I want to see Edge conquer on his own. He just doesn't. There's certain people that just don't need people. That's why when Bray Wyatt that was done with the Wyatt family and he turned into the Fiend, I'm like, yes, that's it. He did his service, his community service for the company. Now he's on his own. I think Balor fits way better in this role, and I think this is going to be the group, man. This is it. Balor, Priest, Rhea. It just feels right. Again, I understand I'm most likely going to be in the minority. Probably nobody's going to agree with me on that, and that's cool. But the way that BC's thinking about booking in the future, I like this, dude. I really do like this. So I'm okay being the odd man out. Omos! But what a swerve, guys. I want to wrap it up with a bow, man. What a swerve. BC, there's not many times where BC, I get kind of jaded, we all do, watching this product for decades, and it just seems to get worse and worse every show for this company. It seems anyway. To see something like that's shades of old school wrestling, man. That's what we used to get nearly on a weekly basis in different ways. Obviously, you can't do the same thing every week, but we would get things like that. Every week, there was something that was just like, whoa, you know? And it brought back that old feeling of like, that's how we used to watch wrestling, man. That's what happened on these shows. Now the shows are so redundant. You're seeing the same shit. Nothing fun, nothing innovative, nothing exciting. Good night, It starts with, hello, everyone, Jimmy Smith. Welcome to a great night of action tonight. And then it ends. Good night, everybody. Jimmy Smith saying bye. And you don't know what the fuck just happened in the 3 hours. You either forgot or you didn't care enough to remember. Or you just didn't watch it. But what we saw in that segment, that's fun. That's when wrestling is at its best, man. Stories. Shit is happening with the characters. Switches. Replacements. Screw jobs. Just wow moments. You look at the crowd, man. Look at Green Bay. Green Bay when it happened, honestly. Go back, watch when Edge got turned on, and watch the crowd. They were all like, what? And that's what I mean. It's those organic shock and awe moments. Fucking awesome. Next up was Omos. He defeats Cedric Alexander in 10 seconds. No, really, 10 seconds, guys. Yeah. Yeah, did you think Cedric Alexander was gonna go 20 seconds? Please. 10 seconds. Post-match, the Dirty Dogs come out. I forgot they were even in WWE. Dolph did really good work in NXT, by the way. I want to give him props with the whole Braun Breaker and even Tommaso Ciampa story that they had down there. But aside from as it pertains to the main roster, I forgot the Dirty Dogs were even a thing. So they come back. It looks like they're faces now. What the fuck? No explanation. They just come out like they're faces. And Dolph delivers a super kick to MVP. And then MVP and Omos chase the Dirty Dogs backstage and the segment ends. I thought we were going to pick it up right after or maybe after a commercial and we're going to see the chase and maybe they start fighting back. That was it. They ran away. They got chased. And see you next week on that segment. I don't know. You can't make this shit up, guys. I couldn't if I tried, and I'm a pretty creative fucking mastermind. I couldn't even make up this type of bad programming. If you paid me lots of money to make bad programming, I couldn't even make Monday Night Raw. And it was like a seesaw last night. Something good would happen, and something fucking just awful. Then something good, then right? Like the Seth Rollins and Cody opening segment was actually really good. That's what I want. That's what we used to get on weekly Raw programming. You know, segment 1 was so fucking good, and then before you know it, before you know it, Becky Lynch is chasing around a 24/7 title and being beat by Dana Brooke. Maurice is arguing with Riddle about the size of her husband's balls. And then we get something really good with Edge getting turned on by Priest and Ripley, and Balor becomes the new leader. What? What a fucking moment. What a segment. And then we're right back to fucking who's got the bigger biceps between Theory and Lashley. Or fucking Omos and MVP chasing the Dirty Dogs around. You know, you can't make this shit up. It's such a seesaw of, man, they know what could be good and what they should be doing. And then they know what doesn't work or what is just awful television, and they decide to go more with the awful television. I mean, those are the only two options, that Raw can be this bad or this just all over the place. It's either they know what works and they choose not to do it, or they just don't even know what works anymore or can't find that connection with the crowd. In which case, I don't know what is worse. They know, but they're purposely sabotaging, or they don't know and trying to find the answers and just striking out every time. I don't know which is worse, but this company is in fucking dire straits, bro. It is all over the place. At least last night we got a couple of really good segments. That was like small signs of life, like a pulse got jump-started. And then it was just so odd. We'd be like, whoa, that was cool. And then we'd go right back into the fucking wild world of a circus shitfest. So odd. Then we go into Ezekiel versus Otis. Ezekiel is still trying to find the identity of the Ezekiel character. You could tell because last night he didn't have those tassels on, a la Ultimate Warrior, Texas Tornado. You guys remember the tassels they used to hang on their arms. Ezekiel had those. Last night he didn't have them. So you can tell he's still trying to find the identity and what his character should should be and look like. So he's still trying to find that shit. And maybe the tassels were holding him down. Maybe it's a good thing he dropped them, because he actually defeated Otis in just 2 minutes last night via the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Farouk. It's been a while since we handed one of these awards out. Farouk Roll-Up. That's right, man. Let's give an award out, man. We haven't given one of these in a long time. So, Otis is the latest person to not be able to kick out of a roll-up. That's right. Do you guys understand how goofy this sounds, by the way? Because they spend weeks trying to convince us all that Otis is a tree trunk. That's the exact nickname that they gave Otis, the commentators. Vince McMahon keeps feeding them that in the air to call him a tree trunk. Yeah, he's a tree. He's a trunk of tree. So this tree trunk that we're all supposed to believe is just this fucking thing, this immovable object, basically. This tree trunk, right? Well, this tree stub gets pinned by a roll-up. A roll-up pins a tree trunk. Otis, congratulations, man. Although this is not a good award to win. Nobody wants to win this. You have just won yourself the Farouk Roll-Up Award from the Amplified Unit. Oh, damn. I think that hit Otis in his dome piece, bro. But don't worry. He's going to be just fine. Only the roll-up can take out Otis. Sasha laughed at that one, man. I knew I hired you as my assistant for a reason, laughing at my jokes. Otis gets pinned by the fruit roll-up, man. Best part of this farce was Corey Graves talking about my Green Bay Packers for half of the match. Now, the bad news is the match was only 2 minutes, so half the match was only 1 minute. But Corey Graves talked about my Packers for an entire minute, and that I love, man. Big Green Bay Packer fan over here, and it was good to see some of my Packers actually in the front row. So, that was the best part of the match. Post-match, Ezekiel calls out Kevin Owens for a rematch from their Hell in a Cell match where Kevin Owens beat Ezekiel. And I told you guys how big of a win that was for Kevin Owens. And I'm excited for the dude to finally move on and get something better for him. Instead, it looks like we're just going to run it back. And here we go again with Rematch City, bitch. It's going to be Owens and Ezekiel for the foreseeable future. Ezekiel calls out Owens, wants the rematch. Owens comes out and says, only under one condition. You admit that you're Elias. So Ezekiel's like, oh, that's it? Okay, I'm Elias. And Owens is like, I knew it. And then Ezekiel's like, oh, and by the way, I lied. And then he kicks him in his dome piece or knees him in his dome piece, and the match is on for next week. Yes, I'm Elias. Yeah, I knew it. Oh, by the way, I lied. Got my match. Boom, you're out. I mean, this is why you hire 612 writers. This is why you do it, man. This is so fucking... This is just epic. Epic writing. Epic television. I'm Elias. By the way, I lied. Knees up in his head, and then he walks away. And Owens is like, damn, man, I got lied to. I got to wrestle him again. This is so... Nothing's in writing, Kevin. You don't have to wrestle shit, bruh. Oh, man. The shit that Vince McMahon forces us to dumb ourselves down to just to try to fucking view this with any semblance of believability. It gets to a point where you can't. It gets to the point where it is so fucking bad that you... I guess you do what Ali's doing, man. You just have to laugh. Mustafa Main Event is back, and he's got a fucking photo of him like, hey, I'm back on Main Event. Yeah, I knew I came back for a reason. I guess you laugh, man. I mean, BC's flipped out for years. I guess we've reached the fucking batshit ballistic laugh phase where we're just, there's nothing else. I mean, this company is just fucking off the wall. The main event was a fatal four-way to decide the number one contender for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship. Liv Morgan versus Alexa Bliss versus Doo-Doo Drop versus Rhea Ripley. Belair is at ringside. This was nearly a 20-minute match, and it was actually pretty damn good. These ladies went physical and all out. So I'm not going to throw shade at the match for sure. I don't like schmaz matches, but I love how WWE has at least been giving the women, especially main events. They have a really solid roster on Raw for the women. WWE as a whole, they have a solid women's roster, and it's really good to finally see them having better matches. I mean, they're worlds apart from where they need to be and should be, but it's good to see signs of life and improvement with the women's division because they really have a good division. So they actually had some time in there, guys. Again, nearly 20 fucking minutes of a main event. It's about fucking time. And, you know, but that's wrestling in general. I mean, in AEW, their women's champion, Thunder Rosa, can't even get on fucking TV. You know, and she's frustrated with AEW. She knows that she wants more time, but Tony Khan is looking at the numbers and saying, well, I mean, you're not pulling in ratings, and that's why I can't give you guys time, but then there's a conflict, right? Because you got to make your audience give a fuck. You got to take those hits in the ratings, but if you're developing great matches with awesome storytelling with your ladies, then Tony Khan will build that audience over time. But if we're just going to run in these vicious circles, and Tony's not going to give them any time, and the audience is going to care less and less, and then the women are going to demand more time, but Tony's going to look at the numbers, and nobody's going to care, and then he's going to put them in these spots because the ladies demanded it, and then they're going to pull low numbers, but because there's no storyline given, because Tony didn't care, the fans didn't care. It's confusing, but it's a vicious cycle, and that's why nothing improves. So, you know, I bring up AEW as well because, you know, this is something that's kind of across the board. Not a lot of time over the years has been given to the ladies, and that's why there's a huge disconnect. Not a lot of good stories. No reason to really care. So WWE is doing the first part right. They're giving them the time. Now what they have to do is make us give a fuck, and Tony Khan has to do the same thing over in AEW. But these four ladies got 20 minutes in there, man, and they went physical and all out, so I'm in. Ripley delivers a gnarly riptide to Doo-Doo for the W. I mean, she got her up, but barely, but she did it, and you could tell it was a lot to I mean, Bianca Belair twice did the KOD to Doo-Doo. But to see the riptide, man, that's why I think Bianca Belair is actually stronger than Rhea Ripley. I thought that originally, and after last night, I can pretty much base that just on how they picked up Doo-Doo. But Doo-Doo gets dropped in the riptide, and Ripley is now the number one contender for Belair's championship. I would presume Money in the Bank, if Vince wants that title to be defended at Money in the Bank. It's a championship, and it's a premium pay-per-view, so sometimes Vince doesn't want titles on his fucking premium events. It's too premium to be on a premium event. Go figure. Probably get that match on a fucking Monday Night Raw. Probably get that match on Raw 2 to 3 times, and then get the same match at the pay-per-view, I bet. At the premium event. Because that's what they do anyway. And Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss in this match, man. They just, when they were together, whether it was working together or going against one another, it was magic, man. I loved it. And I'm like, I always thought these two were kind of similar in a lot of ways. Not just looks, but just wrestling. It felt like there was a lot of similarities. To see them together, man. There was one moment, you want to talk about roll-ups? There was an epic... I think one of the broadcast, either is Corey or maybe Byron Saxon, talking about like a human tumbleweed where they were locked up in a fruit roll-up, Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss, and they just started rolling around the ring like 17 times and fast, not slowly. I mean, this was fast, man. They were just like, it was like a fucking ball just going around and around, but they were locked up in a roll-up. I mean, that was incredible to witness. What am I getting at? I never knew I wanted to see this or needed this, but I am all in for Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan in a tag team. I mean, if you're going to ignite a tag division finally for the ladies, Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss, bro? I mean, those are firecrackers, man. Straight balls of fire, those two. Their size, they may not be the biggest, but I would put them against anybody and give them a viable shot to beat anybody. I don't care if they're in there with a Nia Jax and a Nyla Rose. I would still give them at the bare minimum a 50-50 chance. I mean, if they won championships in that division and held them for 9 fucking months, I'd believe it. Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan, I'm throwing my hand up in the air. If anybody in the company ever asks, hey, what do you think about this team? BZ's going to be like, oh, let me think. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's why I used to call Alexa Bliss 5 feet of fuck yeah. Liv Morgan can't be any more, that much more than 5 feet, right? So we'll just call them the 5-footers of fuck yeah. That's their new name. 5 feet of fuck yeah. Coming down. All right, give him the Howard Finkel introduction. 5 feet of fuck yeah. And that's a good way to end the review, man. Again, go check out our number 1. We did that live, a live reaction. That's already up on the channel, headed toward 5,000. You guys already checking that out. And this was our number 2 and our number 3. We move on to Dynamite for later in the week. SmackDown. And any bonus impromptu vids that we feel like putting up on the channel, man. Whenever I got any free time, I love shooting the shit and putting up some bonus vids. So always make sure you're subscribed and notified, man. On your way out, make sure you smash that like, man. Give it an amplified elbow for BC. That'll help out the algorithm. And until next time, man, think, be, live, amplified always. I've been neglecting this coffee, so it's time to give this coffee some love, down it, and then BC's got to hit the road where I'm going to be double fisting some Starbucks within the next half an hour. We got a lot to get to. So, Amp Unit, let's go whoop some fucking ass today, man. Check you later. Salud.